Dr. Klein, good morning. It is Saturday, what day is it? August 8th, 2026. I was just getting an email together for you this morning, but I realized that recently, very recently, the Bucks County District Attorney's Office uh, was accusing you, I have this on tape, uh, of, of negligence, of not mandating reporting Josh's issue in 82303. Um, they recently threw you under the bus. They were calling you incompetent, and I have a tape I'd like to share with you, or I have the ability to share with you your attorneys. Uh, when I brought the paper to Bucks County, they refused to look at it because you didn't write on their child abuse. Um, Here's the thing, Dr. Klein in Southampton Pediatrics. When the officer of the court or the law brought our son into your office, you didn't know that this woman suffers severe FDIA, Munchausen syndrome by proxy. You didn't know this information. And so a woman who has gone on and fooled many doctors in many places and the system of Bucks County, I have the physical evidence to lay out the fact that you were fooled from the beginning uh, about the way that Joshua was treated in your office on 82303. You didn't know that this woman has such a mental issue with falsifying medical documents and legal documents and lying to doctors and pediatricians. That happened as a result since that time. So what I'm saying is that Bucks County is standing, as said to me, which is on tape, the doctor didn't call the child line or protective services. They said you did not do that, and I disagreed with them. I believe under your training, your license, I believe that you did call. With your training, with your medical background, that you did call Child Protective Services. That's how I feel in my heart. I don't know if that's the truth or not. But here's the problem. When you were treating, since the time Joshua was born, you were treating Joshua, but you were dealing with a woman who has I have documentation of medical abuse throughout his years that preceded that, that is traced back to 82303. So what I'm saying is, in your defense, at the time when she brought him into your office, instead of calling 911, which I believe that your office advised this woman to do, she forced her way into your office against your immediate medical knowledge of an infant who has a traumatic brain injury who's unconscious. I believe in my heart that she was told by your receptionist or by you to rush him to the hospital. I believe she downplayed his symptoms. I believe that what she did report was incorrect. There's no physical way that a child falls off one single step and has a pressure of 100 G's of force and is left with his head. This was what I'm saying, what I'm my defense is I can prove without a shadow of a doubt that this woman has Munchausen syndrome by proxy. and she has FDIA. I can lay all of it out from that date on, through other pediatricians, through other psychologists, through psychiatrists, through CHOP, that she manipulated the system and the facts going forward, unbeknownst to you. So, and unbeknownst to me, it didn't take me until like 10 years of this to try to finally figure it out, Dr. Klein. I know I've met with you. I hope I didn't say anything harsh, and if I did, I apologize. But you didn't know, and either did Dr. Anna Phillips from CHOP. Either did I. I didn't really know, but I did report it in 2007. I didn't understand what was going on, and it all leads back to the actual facts. And the facts are is what she said to you was a total lie, which is consistent with all the lies going forward, Dr. Klein. That was in the infancy stage of me understanding where this abuse was coming from. But you didn't know. I didn't know. And my mom didn't know, and my family didn't know, and school teachers didn't know, and daycares didn't know, and occupational therapists didn't know. Nobody knew about this traumatic brain injury on the 23rd of August of 2003, nor about the head from the 714 hitting his head then, and hitting his head on the 23rd. But the problem is that one document I discovered in 2007 by accident never made it to CHOP. It never made it to the doctors. It never made it to the psychiatrists. It never made it to, it's like it never happened. Those two dates, 7/14, 8/23, never makes it to CHOP. That's a tell sign. I've got CHOP's diagnosis, and it's taken me 19 years to figure this crap out. I have his diagnosis that was done by them. It was done under false pretenses also. So she has a history of false pretenses and false things that she reports to these people. She's claimed she was a single mom. She claimed that I wasn't in his life. She claimed that she didn't claim about his TBIs, his two of them. Those things were not in CHOP's official report of his disability. It doesn't say Josh suffered a traumatic brain injury on 7/14/03. It doesn't say Josh had a traumatic brain injury undiagnosed in 2003 on 8/23. It doesn't say that he never went to the doctors for it. He never got an imaging done. He never had a CT scan. He never did an MRI. We didn't know the post protocol for concussion. So I guess, Dr. Klein, is what I'm trying to say is I've got the evidence now that suggests that this woman was out to lie to you because we didn't know, I didn't know, you didn't know that she's going to lie and tell the lies, for which apparently you didn't call child services, or you did, I don't know. But you and I were being fooled at the same time, because as important or as or secret as this day has been, because Dr. Klein, I kid you not, I didn't find out till 2007 when I read this. I said, there's no way. When I first read what happened to my son pulling your files, I immediately cried. My body reacted to what I was reading, but then what I read on that day. My physical body dropped down in tears and sobbing I just read that and knew something was wrong, and it stuck with me. It ate at me. Something didn't feel right. But as I was drafting this long email to you this morning, I realized the most important factor to this whole entire thing, like Bucks County says, said to me. And when Bucks County said this to me a few weeks ago, and I, like I said, I recorded it, they threw you under the bus, basically calling you incompetent for not calling child services. So I have this recording, which is very, 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 very important. But as I was thinking about drafting this and what I may have forgotten to write in this email to you, which I'm trying to have it in writing so that it's all formalized and we have evidence of what I've been asking for so long. The one piece of the puzzle that I have is you didn't know about her FDIA and her Munchausen syndrome by proxy. How about that? So here I was writing this long email about what you knew or what you didn't know, but what I didn't know until I was writing this out was is that throughout this whole adventure that I've been on for getting Josh the MRI and CAT scan and seeing the neurologist that is required of somebody who sustains injuries of this magnitude, because it is serious if it's true, that she neglected the welfare of the child, downplaying the syndrome, and then bullied her way into your office and took and it made you feel like Josh was going to be okay, that it's very important to her and how important her job is and how important her livelihood and being a court officer is important to her, and she can't lose her job, because she recently said this to my sister, the same exact thing. Her job was more important than my son. She never asked how he was. This woman never went to go and get him the proper medical throughout his whole life. So Dr. Klein, I'm going to make you an offer. I will gladly give the records that I possess to show you and your legal team that Bucks County calling you incompetent was the wrong answer. I'll sit down with your legal team and I will show you from that day forward that never existed. It never was an issue. But Dr. Klein, I can show you because of that two things. They pretended to have symptoms that were not in line with ADHD when it came back to the TBI. That's one. And then the second most important, well, they're both important. That was the most important. The second was his allergy issues. You questioned on some of your reports that, does he have allergies? Because he's been in there so much. There's so many, oh, I gotta pause, this is a big plane. Geez, I hate when big planes come, I lose my train of thought. My point is, I'll sit down with your legal team and show how all of these things are not guesses of mine. They are not, they're not based on imaginary things. I can show you dates, times, numbers, evaluations, and how out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 doctors and documented trying to help Joshua for all these years, how the TBIs never were there. So when I've asked Bucks County to charge her, when I told Bucks County that I have evidence of, when I have things that support child abuse, when I have enough evidence to support all of the things that I'm talking about, when I go to Bucks and tell them that what I have is true, but they don't want to look at it, it comes all back to you, Dr. Klein. Bucks County has named you as incompetent. I have that on tape, but I know what I know now. It'd be wrong of me not to tell you what you didn't know back in 2003. Like, I never knew my son was laying half dead on the ground. But she knew what she was doing because she's an officer. She knew not calling 911. She knew if she called 911, they would have had the operator ask questions. They would have had the police officer there asking questions. They would have had the EMT sitting there asking questions. Then you get to the hospital, and then you got the administering. You got to ask your questions. Then you got the doctor asking questions. Then you got the specialist for neurology asking questions. Then you have the receptionist for that office asking you questions. So, and then from what I understand, it's a law that any head traumas have to be, the hospital has got to notify Child Protective Services by law. And that wasn't done. So here we are, a woman who knows the system because she works as an officer, knows that CPS would have been involved, would jeopardize her job. Because her focus wasn't on Josh. It was her job and smearing me. Well, Dr. Klein, with all due respect, I believe 82303, that's been ground zero for me since 2007. I'll say it again, but I will be more than happy to sit down with you and your team and show you the facts. Because it's never late to do the right thing. If my son didn't suffer memory loss, if he didn't have all the symptoms of a TBI growing up, which he did, we don't know how much of his brain got damaged. And I don't put the responsibility on you. I put it on the parent who have evidence of that she has lied to people going forward. And for that, I refuse to allow Bucks County to hurt your good name and your reputation and your license and your practice for all these years. I don't accept what they have done to me as a result of this. I have to accept it. But if they're telling me that you're incompetent, that you have the negligence on your shoulders, Dr. Klein, you didn't know how deep she hurt Josh from that day forward. You didn't know that. And I don't think it's fair. I believe that you have a right to know that the County of Bucks District Attorney's Office officially said on the record for me that you're at fault. But this woman was under oath when she brought the baby to you, so she had to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So when she brought him, being that she's an officer of law and she's always under oath, she brought Josh there under false pretenses and told you a lie just to make it so it doesn't go. But you didn't know that. You weren't privy to that information. So here's the whole story. You have a say. You're involved in this. Your defamation, that's another thing. I believe that there are answers to this puzzle that you know very well. It's always been a sore spot in my heart from all the years of contacting you. But it's Josh. If he was good today, I would totally not be having this conversation. If he didn't suffer for so much, for so long, I wouldn't be saying it. If I know what those symptoms have been all of his growing up, and they do mask a TBI. And my son has been misdiagnosed. Well, I think if you and I could, if you allow me to pull back the coverage and have a talk with your legal team or yourselves or your teams, I'll be more than happy to provide all the documentation that supports what I'm saying, that we can get Joshua the right call to the right services so that he can start to, if he's got a brain aneurysm, if he's suffering other complications, no matter what happens, it doesn't matter. It is untreated TBI, and that's not what we do as Americans. That's not what we do as a medical community. And that's not what we do as humans. We don't let the child go on thinking it's something else when it's not what it is. He has no understanding of his traumatic brain injury. He has no idea of what the severity it could lead to in his life medically, especially being untreated. I mean, that's a terrible way to go through life, thinking that he has ADHD or this disability or that disability, or having accused of this or that one. It all falls back to 82303 and 71403. It was there. This secret has got to come out. It's got to be raising alarms, and this disease of fictitious disease imposed on another is I have all of the evidence to support this whole claim without a doubt, and then some. The neglect, the abuse, the hurting, the pain, the constant struggle of this woman. God, it is documented, and I've got it since 2007. So I'll be happy to show what this woman's disease is to you, in hopes that somehow we can make some phone calls and address what has to be addressed, in hopes that I can get that boy the most medical help that is possible to guard any future aneurysms or medical issues that he never knew about. And if he were to pass away, God forbid, today of something, guess who this falls on? Well, I raised the flags for so many years. I raised the concerns. I've done my due diligence. This case is solid beyond a doubt. I've got your back. I'll move forward to help in your defense. At the end of the day, it's justice for Josh. And at the end of the day, he's our American human, and he deserves best. Thank you for listening. Be blessed today.